Anyway, number 8, tetraphobia. Is it the fear of Tetris? I don't think so. Moving now, well and truly closer to the ranks of the weird and wonderful. Tetraphobia is the irrational and altogether building fear of the number 4. Needless to say, those suffering from this particular condition will likely face at least one birthday every 10 year that will not be to their liking. They're scared of the number 4. Why? Wait a minute. With a certain date in their fifth decade, bringing about 12 months in their own personal hell. What? Why is it 4? Why is that? Why isn't it like? I'm sure there's a lot of numbers out there. Why is there a common fear of 4? Number 7, Hippopotamonstrosiquitulafafia. Here, they make it easier. Hippopoto monstros esquitilophobia. My personal favorite now, and in no way for reasons of unkindness. Those behind the naming of, I'm not even going to try to say it again, really must have been playing a joke on the world. I mean, seriously. Could there be any worse title for a psychological and truly damaging fear of long words? I get it. Is that real? Whoa. Oh, is that real? Because that sounds like too good to be true. And why would you name it that? Stop it. I don't know about this site. Somebody check this site. How do you check if it's fake or not? If you go back and you listen to, well, you can't go back and listen to my shows because I have finger fuckitis and that's my phobia. And not the fear of, it's not a phobia. I don't know. It's not a phobia, but it's a disease. It's called finger fuckitis. And I finger fuck everything, and I don't have any. But if you've followed me throughout my wannabe career, you would see that every new site I find, I kind of doubt at first, and then whether it's true or not, I just wind up learning to embrace it. But I just that sounds too convenient. And why would they call it long? I guess just to be, I don't know why they name these the names they do. Half the time they don't make any sense. The word oinkophobia. Now that should be Oikophobia. Oinkophobia. Shouldn't that be like in a goddamn spelling bee? The fear of pigs, right? That should be the fear of pigs. Another example, now often quoted by those who are a little concerned of their domestic role becoming permanent or are perhaps just a little bored. Oikophobia is the name given to an irrational fear of the surrounding of the home as a whole, or in some more specific cases, the household appliances. Needless to say, settling down with such a person in a domestic capacity can prove rather difficult, unless, of course, you have a penchant for living with no mode cons at all, or perhaps in a tent. Even nowadays, camping is friggin', got a bunch of tech shit. Phobophobia. Now this should be the fear of phobias. This is number 5. This example is enough to really scramble anyone's head if given enough thought. As phobophobia is, yes, you guessed it right, the fear of having a phobia. See? For once, they get one that makes sense. They named one that makes sense. Phobophobia. That's perfect. The irrational fear of having an irrational fear is an irrational fear in its own right. Therefore, those who have an irrational fear of having an irrational fear will be having their irrational fear realized on a daily basis. Confused? Think how those poor people feel. Number 4. I like these because I can actually read like some of the top 10s list on top10slist.net is with a Z is I don't even read them because they're so goddamn long. And they're boring sometimes. They're honestly something to write. This guy's short and sweet to the point. I hope there's more of these. Like, as we continue to use this on a daily basis, we'll find out. I hate words with a goddamn X. How are you going to start a word with an X? Exensophobia. There is a marked difference between having your own heated opinions on tastes and styles and truly fearing those not to your liking. As illustrated by... I hate this word. I hate you! The fear of the color yellow is exensophobia. This is another example of a phobia that appears to be rather amusing and less than colossally serious. Colossally serious. Though, when considering just how much yellow there is in the world, facing your fears become a daily inevitability. I'm glad I don't have that fear because one time I was living in South Carolina and my sister moved in with me, Margie Mooj, who... I should get a theme song for her if she was on the show more. Well, now can't take calls, but, she was gold when she came on a couple times. M-A-R-G-I-E-M-O-O-G-E, Margie Mooj. Margie Mooj. Anyway, she came to live with me, and I went to work and came home, and she painted she painted the kitchen yellow. Fucking bright canary yellow with, like, blue goddamn shutters and shit. Painted the shutters blue and shit, or whatever, the trim. Not the shutters, but the trim and shit. It was all blue, like a navy blue with bright ass yellow walls. And my me and Big Mike actually were first ones we were gonna move in. He was gonna move in with me when I got the place, and then he bailed on me. But so he knows the place I'm talking about. But the Mrs. Poston was she came in there and was like, "Oh my." She's like, we're like, what do you think? She's like, oh my, it's bright. It's like blinding you as soon as you got in there. Whoa, what's this? Number 3, trichophobia. Or trenchophobia. Trichophobia refers to an uncontrollable fear of perhaps object and unstable disgust of loose and shed hairs, both in the case of the sufferers and each and every other person, animal around. Suffice to say that such households are not what could be called pet-friendly, but any stretch of the imagination. But banning all furry friends represents the very tip of a much more complex iceberg. Imagine the thought of vomiting, ew, and the sight of a hairbrush, vomiting at the sight of a hairbrush. Wanting to cry when standing close to a person with a hair on their collar, or losing sleep for days at the sight of hair in food. Well, let's be honest, no one wants to see hair in their food, but I just pick it off and eat it. I just take the hair right off my food and eat it. Number 2, torophobia. While most of us, the world over, will like nothing more than stuffing our faces with the calorific and cholesterol unfriendly treat in all its glory. Others can think of nothing worse. In fact, some are so incredibly consumed by the very notion of cheese. Oh my God, I love cheese! And all things cheesy, that they are in fact classed as tourophobic. Let me tell you something about cheese. It's the greatest thing in the world. Now, I really don't want to know how they make it. I don't want to see one of them goddamn shows where, you know, how you make cheese. Because it's probably like the hot dog. It's probably gross. You know what I mean? But I'm just telling you that I love cheese, and I will never not love cheese. And I think that's why me and rats get along so well. Why I have pet rats, because you know, we both love cheese. Me and my rat Patches, who passed away. You know, we shared many of a block of cheese together. It was good times. The official moniker for an irrational fear of cheese. So the question of severity is, in the case, debatable, as it is, of course, not entirely unthinkable to go a day, week, or even a lifetime without consuming face-to-face with a steaming plate of brie. And we will get to number one right after I find out what the fuck's beeping. Oh, it's Kimmy. Hey, what's up? Not much, Kimmy. Kimmy, just doing my show. Just doing my show. She just get up? Did you just get up? There you go. She's typing. Okay. So, let's get to number one before I get too distracted. Is she in here or no? Annie Jug says, it's a phobia. It's a phobia, not a disease. Read that. You're a mental disease. Needless to say, not needless to say. Listen, I read that it's what he wrote. Needless to say, not needless to say. What's the difference? Oh, why? Because she said needless with two S's. Needles. I didn't say needles.
You said needles.
Needle. I did not. I'm saying needless. It's just how I talk. I talk fast.
Yes, you did.
Oh, for God's sake. But, oh, whoa, where are you going? Obviously, I'm talking about, you knew what I meant. Why are you busting my chops? Oh, well, should have known. And no, just finished the shower and dishes while Marie is sleeping. Been up since 7. Me too. Me too. So there you have it. Now, it's time for the number one. Number one phobia is nomophobia. Finally, perhaps most unbelievably of all, and a true product of the 21st century, is, if ever there was one, nomophobia is the official title handed to those who cannot bear the thought of being out of reach contact by way of mobile phone. A recent study carried out by a top UK research firm concluded that well over 50% of all mobile users today feel somewhat anxious and entirely uncomfortable when for one reason or another they cannot use their mobile phone. Whether though lost battery issues, depleted credit, or anything else of a similar nature, Some are so massively and